The alley was silent except for the hum of a flickering streetlight. It was raining hard, cold, sharp, punishing. Marine Sergeant Daniel Cole pushed his wheelchair forward, trying to ignore the ache in his arms. Marine Sergeant Daniel Cole pushed his wheelchair forward, his hands trembling from the chill. He was on his way to a VA appointment when something made him stop. A shadow moved inside a bus stop. But Marine Sergeant Daniel Cole felt something. A shape curled tightly in the corner. Daniel squinted through the glass. There, behind a dumpster, something was moving. Something thin. Something trembling. He rolled closer, heart pounding. And the moment his flashlight hit the shape, his breath caught in his throat. Daniel froze. And his heart dropped. A German Shepherd. Starved, soaked, shivering. But not just any dog. But what made Daniel's hands shake wasn't the dog's condition, the markings, the posture, the scar above the right eye. No, Daniel whispered, his voice cracking. His breath hitched. His fingers went numb, because he knew that face. He knew that dog. A scar Daniel had cried over when he held a blood-soaked harness in Afghanistan and was told the dog didn't survive. He had buried him in Afghanistan. Or at least, he thought he had. Ranger? It can't be you. No, this can't be real. And the dog slowly lifted his head. And the dog whimpered, as if he recognized him too. He knew that Marine. He had crawled across cities trying to find him. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The rain fell in relentless sheets, soaking the sidewalks and blurring the world behind a curtain of cold water. Marine Sergeant Daniel Cole pushed his wheelchair forward, each spin of the wheels echoing in the empty street. His uniform jacket clung to him, heavy with rain, but he didn't speed up. He never rushed anymore. Life after the war moved slowly, painfully slowly. That he was heading toward his VA appointment, focusing on the cracks in the pavement, when something made him stop. A faint movement. A shape curled tightly in the glass bus shelter ahead. Daniel narrowed his eyes, wiping water from his face. At first, it looked like a pile of wet rags. But then, it shifted. A dog. A German Shepherd. Starving. Soaked. Barely able to lift its head. Daniel's heart clenched. He hadn't seen a canine up close in years. Not since Afghanistan. He swallowed hard, forcing himself to breathe as he rolled closer. The closer he got, the more the world seemed to tilt. The dog's posture, the drooping ears, the way he curled one paw protectively over his chest. And oh, it couldn't be. It was impossible. Yet Daniel's hand shook uncontrollably as he whispered into the rain, "Ranger?" The dog didn't look up, but Daniel felt something deep inside him break before the rain-soaked streets and the cold emptiness of civilian life. There had been a different world, hotter, louder, and far more dangerous. Afghanistan. A place Daniel could still smell when he closed his eyes. Sand smoke. And Ranger's fur against his gloves. Ranger had been more than a military dog. He had been Daniel's partner, his shield, his anchor. They had cleared buildings together, crossed fields laced with hidden death, and slept shoulder to shoulder when the desert nights dropped below freezing. Ranger always sensed danger before any human could. He saved lives, dozens of them, maybe more. But the day Daniel could never forget began like any other patrol. The sun was brutal, the wind dry, the tension constant. Ranger suddenly stiffened, ears up, tail rigid, a warning Daniel had learned to trust with his life. "Easy, boy. What are you?" The explosion cut his sentence in half. A deafening roar, blinding light. The ground ripped open beneath them. Daniel remembered flying, hitting the dirt, pain screaming through his legs. Dust filled the air. Ranger's frantic barking echoed through the chaos, then faded. When Daniel woke up in the medic tent, his legs were gone. And Ranger was declared missing. Presumed dead, Daniel had begged them to search. He'd come back, he insisted. He always comes back. But they never found a body. Just shredded gear and blood in the sand. That was the day Daniel lost not just his dog, but a piece of his soul. That Daniel's heartbeat thundered louder than the rain as he rolled closer to the glass shelter. The German Shepherd didn't move, didn't growl, didn't even lift his head. He just sat there, shrunken, defeated, soaked to the bone. A dog who had stopped fighting the world. Daniel swallowed hard. Hey, buddy," he whispered, his voice cracking. "It's okay." The dog flinched at the sound, curling tighter into himself. Daniel felt his chest cave in. Ranger had never feared him, never feared anything. Seeing a shepherd react like this felt like a knife twisting deep. He moved his wheelchair slowly, deliberately, until he was right at the edge of the shelter. Rain dripped from his sleeves as he extended a trembling hand. "It's me. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the dog's nose twitched, just barely. His head lifted an inch. He sniffed the air. Daniel froze. The dog froze. And in that suspended second, something shifted. Recognition. A memory trapped under months of starvation and pain. The shepherd lifted his eyes, dull, tired, but familiar. He stared at Daniel's hand, then at Daniel himself. A soft, broken whine escaped his throat. Daniel's vision blurred with instant tears. "Oh God, Ranger, is that really you?" The dog took one shaky step toward him, and Daniel completely broke. Daniel didn't remember half the ride to the vet clinic. Only the sound of his own heartbeat and the faint, shaky breaths coming from the German shepherd curled beside him in the van. The dog lay with his head resting on Daniel's lap, too weak to lift it, but refusing to let Daniel out of his sight. Every few seconds, his paw twitched, as if he feared being left again. "We're almost there, buddy. Stay with me," Daniel whispered, brushing his fingers through the dog's soaked fur. Inside the clinic, nurses rushed forward the moment they saw the dog's condition. "Severely underweight. Get fluids started. He's dehydrated. Blood pressure is crashing." Daniel's chest tightened with every word. How long? How long has he been like this?" he asked. The vet studied the dog carefully, lifting his paws, inspecting his ribs, the scars on his legs. "A long time," she said grimly. "Months, at least. Whoever had him didn't take care of him. And whatever he went through, he barely survived it." Daniel's throat burned. Guilt, grief, rage, all of it twisted together. "He needed me, and I wasn't there," he whispered. The vet looked at him gently. "Sergeant, this dog fought like hell to stay alive. Someone hurt him. Someone abandoned him. But he didn't give up." She paused, her voice softening. "And something tells me he held on because he was trying to get back to someone who mattered." While Ranger rested under warm blankets and 4 lines, the vet began piecing together the clues left on his battered body. She spoke softly, but every word felt like a punch to Daniel's gut. "These scars, they aren't from the explosion," she murmured. "These are fresh. Weeks old." Daniel leaned forward, gripping the armrests of his wheelchair. "Fresh? What does that mean?" The vet exhaled. "It means he survived the blast. Someone found him afterward, but not the right someone." Images flashed in Daniel's mind. Illegal handlers, backyard breeders, people who saw military dogs as tools instead of heroes. He escaped, the vet continued. The rope burn on his neck, the deep cuts on his paws. He ran. Far. Daniel swallowed hard. Ran where? The vet looked at him with something close to awe. Home. He was following something familiar. A scent. A voice he remembered. Daniel's breath caught. Ranger had crossed highways, alleys, abandoned lots, eating scraps, sleeping under cars, limping through storms. Every wound on his body told a piece of the story. "He came looking for you," the vet said quietly. He didn't give up. Even when his body was failing, he kept going. Daniel wiped at his eyes, voice breaking. "He was trying to come back to me. All this time." Ranger's ear twitched at the sound of his voice, as if confirming the truth himself. Days passed before Ranger could stand on his own, and Daniel never left his side. He slept in the clinic chair, ate there, lived there, his hand always resting on Ranger's back, as if afraid the dog might disappear again. But slowly, steadily, Ranger's strength returned. His eyes grew brighter, his breathing steadier, his tail giving the faintest hopeful thump whenever Daniel spoke. On the morning Ranger was finally cleared to leave, Daniel wheeled forward as the vet opened the kennel door. The dog moved shakily toward him, still thin, still healing, but with a spark Daniel hadn't seen since Afghanistan. Ranger pressed his head into Daniel's chest, letting out a soft, relieved whine that shattered Daniel completely. "I thought you were gone forever," Daniel whispered, wrapping his arms around Ranger's neck. His voice cracked with emotion. "But you never stopped fighting. You never stopped trying to come home." The dog licked Daniel's cheek, a gesture so familiar it felt like stepping back into a life Daniel feared he'd lost. The vet handed Daniel adoption papers. "He's yours now, officially," she said with a smile. Daniel signed them without hesitation. "I lost him once," he murmured, "but I'm never losing him again." They left the clinic together, man and dog. Broken but rebuilding, wounded but not defeated. And as Ranger walked beside Daniel's wheelchair, matching his pace with quiet loyalty, Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope that a brand new beginning, that a second chance for both of them.